Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So it is January 29th, 2023, Saturday morning, and I am just sitting here with my cup of coffee. You can see that. And I decided that, I've never done a live coloring video. I don't think, or maybe just once before. But since the new coloring book is out, and thank you to everyone who's purchased it, it's on Amazon. You can search Daily Empress or Markle Debacle, and you can find this. So it just came out, my second coloring book, Harry and Meghan. I put a nice glossy, I chose a glossy cover. I think I like the glossy one better. So it came out, and here it is. You get a story behind each picture. And so we're going to be coloring Princess Diana today. So it's all there. Love it. Very exciting. Hope you all enjoy it. And I'm going to be using this picture from the coloring book today. I have a copy of it. I'm just going to color the copy here. And I'm going to be using a new set of pencils that I also wanted to show you, which I think you'll love, the Amazon Premium Colored Pencils 72 set. This only costs $17.10 for 72 pencils. It's an amazing deal. Now, if people ask me what my favorite color pencils are, I always tell you Prismacolor, right? But Prismacolor is pricey. A 72 set of Prismacolor is $53 right now on Amazon. And other cheaper brands, there are a couple of cheaper brands that you can get that are a couple of dollars less than this, and some are usually more. But this is definitely one of the lowest priced brands of pencil. And I especially want to try it out because I've been hearing again and again from other large art channels that these pencils are just like Prismacolor. They're just like Prismacolor. And no, they're not just like Prismacolor. I can officially state now they are not just like Prismacolor, but they are very good for the price. They are awesome. They are awesome pencils. They're better than, say, I don't know, a Crayola or a Crazy Art or Prang or any of those cheaper brands, which I do love. I love cheap color pencils. They have a place, they can look good at times with certain artwork. But these are creamier than regular cheap pencils. They're not hard, full of binder. They do have a lot more pigmentation than the average cheap pencil in this price range, but they are not exactly like Prismacolor. But they're very good pencils, though. They're excellent. They're regular size, good barrel. Now these are what I'd use if I was traveling, because if you're traveling and you want to bring some coloring materials while you're waiting for the plane or whatever, and you don't want to take your expensive color pencils because if you drop these, if you accidentally drop them or bang them around when you travel, they break, and that could be you wouldn't like that, especially with color, expensive color pencils. So I would think these would be great to travel, and always have around because if you lose one of these or break them or your children want to use it, no problem, that's right. So that's why these are great, and also they're very good pencils. And we got to work on them today with this picture of Princess Diana, and I got this drawing I took from the picture you can see on the lower left. If you do a DuckDuckGo search on Princess Diana, that picture will show up. So that's the reference photo there that I used for this drawing. Yeah, so I thought I would use the Amazon basic pencils here to color in Princess Diana's face and hair. I'm gonna start with the hair, I think. And I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah, okay, good. Here we go. Zoom in a little bit and see if we can do some coloring today. So this is just going to be video coloring, and if anyone joins and wants to chat, that's great too. So let's get started. Let me get my setup here going. And I'm just going to quickly check my volume to make sure it's on because sometimes it doesn't work quite well. So let me see here. Great, two. Okay, good. I think you can hear me fine. Good. All right. So here we go. Starting with the hair. Now, normally with Princess Diana, you think blonde hair, just pick yellow. But if you look at her hair, you can see, yes, there are yellow highlights. So we probably will start with a very light yellow color, but not bright yellow. More the, well, I think I would use more subdued yellow. I think I'm gonna go with putting on more of this color, more of a yellow ochre type color. What is that? That's more an orange. No, not that one, this one. And they all have names on it. This is chrome, called chrome yellow. So I'll start with that yellow. So not a bright, but there's chrome. There's a chrome yellow and there's also a ochre color. Okay, so they have a yellow ochre color. Let me just look at the light here. Actually, I think I'll go with yellow ochre. I changed my mind. I'm not using yellow chrome. Put that back. I'm going to use the ochre. So it's on the second pan, OCHRE. I'm going to use that color for her hair. So I'm just going to go overall and, try to go in the direction of how I see her hair in the picture. It's very curved. So this is just the first layer. You use multiple layers with hair and to get more realistic look. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. I'm not the best at jewelry, the tiara, to make it look realistic. That's something I need more practice on. I know a lot of colorists who are very good with that. Some colorists are very good with making jewelry look realistic. It's more of using not what you'd expect, more like grays and blacks, and again, very detailed. I'll try it. I'm gonna try and see what I can do. So I'm just overall going over with this ochre to give the base of, and I'm using hatching kind of strokes, using the direction of the hair. Not trying to be perfect, just getting an overall covering there. So you're not coloring like this on it. I mean, unless you want to, but I prefer using multiple layers with hair. Okay, so the next one, let me see. I want to go a little darker. This is a little too, the chrome is too orange looking. I don't want that. It's a little, well, there is a little bit of orange in her hair. There's a little bit of orange tints. Maybe later on I'll put that in. Next color I'm going to try. This is a brand new set for me, by the way. I just got it this Amazon basic set, so I'm figuring this out as I go along. I think I'll go with, let me see this color. Always have a scrap piece of paper nearby to test your color out and see if it looks right. So I'm testing this color out here, and I think that does look right. So this is burnt sienna. So now I'm going to go over some of the darker areas. Just putting in some strokes. When you look closely at her hair, you can see there's a lot of different shades in it and a lot of different highlights in this picture. So certain parts of her hair are very dark and other parts are very light, almost white. So it's a whole spectrum of color there. So I'm just focusing on the values here, the lights and the darks. That's really all it is. To make a picture look realistic. I mean, not all there is, but the most important part is the getting the lights light and the dark dark. The dark's dark. The light's light and the dark's dark. If you just do that, no matter what colors you use, it'll look realistic. It'll look good. That's what I think. So I'm just going to be quietly working because there's no one around chatting, so that's fine. I've never done one of these before. It's my first live coloring. Maybe if I made it a regular thing, it would be um, something that people might be interested in. But these are longer live videos are not normally my normal type of video. So again, I'm just stroking in the direction of the hair, getting it as accurate as possible, and that does make a difference. The same thing with animals. If you're doing fur, you want to get the fur in the right direction. It makes all the difference. And we just keep adding layer upon layer upon layer of this hat of doing hashing, hatching, um, strokes. If you don't know what I mean by hatching, I mean just real quick, hatching is just that's hatching, just one direction, da da da, next to each other. That I find for me, and I've learned is the best way to do hair or fur. The same with eyebrows, eyelashes, any kind of hair. So it's already kind of taking a good form here, right? You can see, um, if you wanted to, you could stop right here and say, okay, hair's done. But not me. I'm gonna keep going. I want to do more. I want to make it more dramatic, so I'm gonna keep layering. It's all about the layers, right? With color pencil, it's layer upon layer, and the more layers, the more vibrant, the more realistic. Yeah, Diana had that unique hair color. Not unique hair color, excuse me, unique style, I should say. Her hair evolved over time. She really made short hair glamorous, right? But it wasn't short, of course, but she did make it fashionable, I guess I could say, at the time. Her hair was a big deal when she was alive, right? Everybody's watching what she wore in her hair. And when she was younger, she started out, she had longer looking hair. And as the marriage ended and they divorced, then she went shorter and shorter. Sort of like when she was getting her independence, she went shorter and shorter, and she got more into, I guess, working out. She got healthier as time went on. Because when she started out, when she first married, right, she had unhealthy kind of bulimia and all that she talked about. But then she got the help she needed, like Lady C said. I haven't read Lady C's book entirely yet. I have so many books I want to read, so many books coming out that it's so much to read. Never mind everything else going on in the world that haven't yet read, but I do want to read her book about Princess Diana because does seem to be the blueprint for certain modern day duchesses. So plus it'd just be interesting to learn about her, more about her. Um, but I felt this was a beautiful picture of her. She's always beautiful, always looked beautiful no matter what she did. She was an original. So I've just been using burnt sienna all this time. So I've only ochre and burnt sienna are the only two colors I've been using, and I've gotten pretty good results so far. But of course, it goes darker than this, her hair, like a mid-tone. So I'll go a little bit darker than that. I choose another pencil here. I'm gonna see what's here, what color I want to use next. I think we'll use brown. Just brown, 558. In the Amazon set here. So now we're going to be starting to do the really dark areas here. So focusing on the darkest areas, most shaded areas, should we say, in this picture. She sort of has different layers here to the hair and with the bangs and then over here. So everyone wonders, or many people wonder, if Diana were alive today, what would be different, right? It'd be the world would be a very different place, especially with regards to the royal family, that's for sure. And William and Harry for sure. If Princess Diana were alive today, I think no one would know who Meghan Markle was. It would be like, who? Meghan who? I never heard of her. Ay, ay, ay. 'Cause I don't think a lot of people agree. They don't think that Princess Diana would have allowed Harry to marry her. Okay, so the earring there, sort of. The world has changed so much since Diana's passing, that's for sure. It's a different world back then, before 9/11, and so many other COVID nonsense. Okay, so I'm trying to here it is tricky, you're trying to um, get a handle on what's going on here, which is takes practice. That's all I gotta say. It takes practice. It doesn't have to be perfect, just do the best you can. That's all you can do. And as long as you're just doing strokes and layers, you should be okay. It'll come out all right. As long as you get doesn't have to be perfect, just, close enough. It's a coloring book page. It's not, that's a lot of fun. And a lot of professional artists do. I notice on YouTube and whatnot, they do enjoy relaxing with a good coloring page. It's amazing. If you go on Instagram, it's amazing what people do. I find it interesting is that a lot when you have a lot of talented artistic people who all get the same coloring book, like the Roseanne, Mythomorphia and his line of adult coloring books, and you see how different people will come up with such different results from what they've started with, of what they'll do with a particular coloring page. Like you could go in so many different directions in how you decide to create a new piece of art, if you will. And there's so many different things you can use in coloring books and coloring pages and different media. So, like pastels and markers and watercolor pencils and Inktense pencils. Etc. Acrylics, people use acrylic. Yes. All right, so that's the brown, and I think I'm even going to go darker than that in some areas. Let me test out this color. Yeah, that looks good, dark color. I'm gonna go with that one. This one is the next one, dark chocolate. All right, wait a minute, I can use dark chocolate or Van Dyke brown, or do I want Van Dyke brown? Actually, I'm not gonna go dark chocolate. I'm gonna go, I think, oh, no. Yeah, I think I will go dark chocolate. Yeah, I'm gonna go dark chocolate. So it's 561 dark chocolate for the darkest areas. Most shaded areas, I should say. I'm just gonna go back and forth with some. I don't think I made this. Add some more brown here. Trying to just. Some more ochre, or burnt sienna, I should say. And I'm gonna use some ochre too. There's the ochre. Add some more of that. So just keep layering and layering and layering till you're happy with it. And these pencils are very good. The Amazon pencils are excellent for the price, especially for the price. You can't, definitely cannot complain. It's probably the best cheap pencils that I bought, and I bought a few sets of cheap pencils because you always want to know. You like it's fun to use different kinds of pencils sometimes. Sometimes you want the soft pencils, sometimes you want to use the harder pencils. It's up to what your personal preference that day is. I like to go back and forth between harder pencils or based pencils versus wax-based pencils, the softer ones. So I like going back and forth between the two types of pencils. Sometimes these these not Prismacolors are like the softest pencils and then the most pigmented. Um, there's other soft brands out there, but they're the softest brand that I have. And now these pencils, these Amazon ones, are not as soft as Prismacolor, but they're not the hardest. They're more softer than hard, I guess. And they have they're not as pigmented as Prismacolor either, but that's okay. Like I said, for the price, you can't go wrong, and you can do really good results with these pencils. You don't need the professional color pencils for everything. You can get excellent results with these, even with the cheapest pencils. There's a video out there I saw of someone, an artist who drew the same picture. I think it was a Disney cartoon, and they drew the same picture with a cheap set of color pencils and then with an expensive, I think it was Caran d'Ache maybe. Caran d'Ache pencils are like the most expensive. It's like $300 for a set of, I don't know, 100 and something. Well, it was very expensive. They're of course professional color pencils, and they're thick and gorgeous. And I bought a couple of them at the store, the art supply store, just to try them out because you're always curious. You want to try everything. They, they're they're a little bit softer than the Amazon pencils. They're not quite as soft as um, Prismacolor, but they're gorgeous pencils. They're very nice to use, but very expensive, and you're just like a little bit too expensive for coloring book coloring, that's all. But if you really take to color pencil art, you love it, and you want to do it all the time, and you want to make professional, because you can do very realistic. You'd be surprised the pictures out there, especially animal portraits and whatnot, that you would think are paintings are in fact color pencil art. Because once you start blending the color pencil, which I'm going to do some blending soon, it looks like paint. So it's hard to tell sometimes. It's like, is that color pencil? It's like it takes time to discern, um, watercolor versus acrylic versus color pencil. But I found, if you want to do realistic looking artwork, I found color pencil to be the easiest way for me anyways, to get realistic looking results. And then with my watercolor painting, I'm still kind of working on that. It takes more time for me to try to get, it's more of a struggle, I think, to get. realistic looking, um, you know, painting or drawing because it's just easier with color pencil because you have so much control. You control where the color goes everywhere. You have full control. You don't have to worry about with watercolor. You have to worry about the paint going this way and that and not turning out the way you expected. It's always the unexpected with that. But with the color pencil, I think is probably the best way to start getting realistic looking drawings. But it does take a lot longer. You gotta sit here and put layer. Like I'm doing this even quicker than a professional artist would. A professional artist would really take their time, and I'm being kind of sloppy here with my lines. I'm just like, uh, compared to like what a professional would be very careful with each line. And so now I put a lot of quite a few layers on there, and it's looking pretty good, I think. The hair there. I mean, again, it depends on where you want to stop. Wherever you stop, you could stop right there and say, I'm done, that's it. Like any artist will tell you, you should keep going, at least go another hour. Keep adding those layers, keep now in between that, you want to, because we've been using the hatch strokes there are some, spaces there, and it's not looking as soft and smooth as it's very pencily looking, right? I mean, um, it's not looking like soft hair. I mean, I guess it kind of does, but it's not as smooth and natural flowing. So I like to do is I'm using a Derwent blender pen here, but I did a video where I showed you the formula. I refilled this with my alcohol and glycerin, so you can making my own. You can make your own blender. So, but lots of good blender pens out there on you can buy on Amazon or our supply store or wherever. And so I'm just blending it. See, it softens it out quite a bit. You can't giving it. And then after I blend it, sort of blend it together, you make it look a little softer there, more natural, kind of smushing it together. Because her hair is very soft, and um, and then after blending it, then you can, to make it look more realistic, add some strokes in there. Because there are some, the blending marker here or color pencil blender will get rid of all those any little white spaces you may have had between the strokes, really. This is when it starts looking more like paint, because it breaks down the binder a little bit and releases the color, so it makes it more vibrant. You see it, especially with like Prismacolor pencils or more vibrant pencils. It really unleashes a lot of color and looks more and more like paint. And this looks pretty good. I mean, the Amazon pencils here. So if you can see, I can just pressing a little harder here, making it a little more blended, make it a little more smoother. Yeah, so that just softens it a little bit, a little more flowy there. So that's what I have so far. I got a little mess thing on there. Yeah, that's what I've got so far. Now I could go even darker than that, right? I mean, her hair has a lot of much darker areas there. So I think I will, um, so I'm gonna go back to the dark chocolate and make it even more uh, darker in the darker area. And I believe within the tiara, it's darker in here because that's the hair. You can see her hair through the openings of her tiara, so I'm coloring those in with my dark, my chocolate brown here, dark chocolates, because it's all the her. Now I'm just going over with the burnt sienna where I put the dark chocolate color, sort of the So this is gonna be the dark chocolate inside, and then as it comes out into the light, it gets the burnt sienna sort of comes out as the next. But even with the dark chocolate, I think that I mean, you could stop there if you wanted to, or I could even go a little bit darker in the shadows. But I would have to use. I don't know if I'd use this one. What is this? My Van Dyke Brown or not? Let me try Van Dyke Brown. I'm gonna try Van Dyke Brown on top. See, I'm using like every brown in here. Yeah, that's a nice dark uh, look to it. And then on top of that, we'll just use some gray, maybe for the darkest areas to get it really dark. Yeah, the Van Dyke Brown is darkening it up quite well. The shadows here. So again, if I wanted to, I could stop right there, or I might go a little bit darker. Not black though. I'm avoiding black because, yeah, black would be too much to use in the very shady areas. It'd be too much of a, it would look too harsh. So let's see how this warm gray. I've got a warm gray here, which isn't very dark now. So going darker than that, we've got slate gray. I may use, okay, slate gray is a nice dark, almost black color that I could use. I also have a dark gray. So there's a dark gray and a slate gray. Very subtle difference there. The slate gray is a more of a bluish gray. So this is when it gets tricky. Do I want the bluish gray or the warmer gray? I think I'll go with so the warmer gray you use with the reddish tones. So I guess I'll go with the warmer gray. But I may use the slate gray. I may use both. I'll start with the warm gray or the dark gray. It's a dark gray color. And if it's not dark enough, then I'll try the slate gray. So you can see I'm using 6 different colors already just for the Harrys. You see how it goes with color pencils. Everything's multiple shades of color. So this is the dark gray I'm using now for the darkest areas, the most shaded areas. Yeah. Give it more realistic look, more three-dimensional. Let's blend that a little bit, see how that looks. The blending should release some of that pigment. Maybe make it look a little darker and smoother. Now the question is, do I want to go even darker in those shadows? I feel like the shadows should be even darker, so I'm gonna do it. I'm going to the slate gray. Here we go. I thought it might be a little too dark now. It is a bit of a more of a bluish gray, but if you mix blue with brown, you do get a nice gray color with paint anyways. And it should work also with color pencil. So here we go. I'm using the slate gray now. This is my darkest color I will be using on her hair today. It's like I said, I'm not going black. You may want to go black if that's what you want to do. You do you. But I'm gonna go the slate gray for the darkest parts, the most shadowed parts of the hair to hopefully make it pop a little bit. As they say, make it pop. I'm adding a little more burnt sienna, I think. Yeah, a little more burnt sienna. Have a little bit of gradation in there. I'm doing this very quickly. Like I said, it could supposed to take your time, do it very slowly with color pencil, but I'm not the most patient person in the world to build that up. Mm, I think that needs to be a little more colored in down here. Yeah. Again, I'm gonna blend it a little bit. See, it pops a little bit more, right? With a little bit of the slate gray in there. So it's a little bit more realistic. I gotta blend it in, just to release some of that color. I think I need a little more color, stepping back and looking at, I'm gonna go back to the dark chocolate and I think I need a little bit more darker over here, but not quite as dark as the slate gray. Just blending into the slate gray. It's a bit darker in the back here. 'Cause I feel like I have too many. Oh, there we go. You want to keep your pencils sharp with the hair. So you want to get those strands of hair looking for make it look realistic. So we're going on either side of the slate gray. So you get the slate gray and then the dark chocolate around the slate gray. So I'm going to go back to the slate gray color a little bit more and add just a little bit more shading. This gives that shiny look, to her hair. You can see it looks shiny, right? You get that nice, but not too shiny, but yeah, it gives you a nice shiny light look that her hair always had. That's feathered, soft feathered look there. Now, if you go too far with it, with maybe shaded over the highlights too much, just take out an eraser. An electric eraser is perfect, and you can just lift out any coloring there. And actually, sometimes that's the best way to go about getting the highlights. So you can go back and highlight. I'm lucky this time. I did not go too far with it, but if I do, I have my eraser there to pull away any mistake. So I'm using the burnt sienna now, going a little bit lighter brown and sort of moving in there. I'm going to sharpen it again. Get a nice sharp tip there. And see what I've got here. I'm just going over it all. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think that is pretty much how good I'm gonna get this. Maybe I'll do a little bit more of a curve here. Her bangs do kind of curve in the front. They have a lot of, so I'm going over the darker areas a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that that's as good as I'm gonna get the hair there. So, hey Lydia, how are you? Oh, thank you. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I had it on mute for a little while because I was just drinking and coloring, so there's no one here. So I was like, well, maybe I'll add music later. But yeah, so there's the hair. I'm just showing you how you can color her hair, and that's the reference photo that I used starting out. And I'm using the well, you'll see if you watch the beginning of the video, I show you that I've got a brand new set of the Amazon 72 pencils, $17 for 72 pencils. And a lot of artists on YouTube are saying that they're just like Prismacolor, but they're not just like Prismacolor. But they're very good pencils, though. You know, they work very well, and it's a great deal. I mean, you can't go wrong. 72 pencils for $17, right? And I just use them here to color Princess Diana's hair, as you can see in the reference photo. So I used about 5 or 6 pencils here. I used all these pencils. These are the pencils I used right here for her hair, right there. I'll probably snap a picture of this for Instagram. There you have it. So I'm going to stop there, stop with the hair, and there you have it. So maybe I'll come back if you're interested. Come back later and work on the face, do the skin and all that. Yeah. So I'm going to stop right there and end it there for the hair. So I hope you all enjoyed this. And if you're interested, we can do more coloring in the coloring book. All right. Take care. Bye, Lydia. Bye bye.